Welcome to the Birth Protectors podcast with Rahelios and Celeste, where couples seeking a deeply intimate home birth experience come together.
Join us as we explore how choosing unassisted birth is not just a powerful act of love, but also a transformative way to build a passionate marriage and a strong, connected family. People are, a lot of times, people that we talk to, they're kind of nervous about homeschooling their kids, for instance, because they're not sure that they know the right things to teach them or that they can handle it. They think it's going to be difficult, because we've all been kind of raised in this system, this huge system that teaches us what's normal and what's acceptable and what's supposed to be done. Now, for some reason, Celeste and I decided, really, when we first got together, and both of us individually before we ever met, we were kind of just not follow the system type of people. That carried through our childhood, through our teenage years, and as we got married, none of our kids were born in a hospital. They were all born at home. The unassisted home birth of just Celeste and I, they've never been vaccinated. We didn't take them to the hospital to get checked out after they were born. They've never gone to school. Not a single one of them has gone to any school, not preschool, not grade school, high school. They've never been really even to the doctor.
We don't participate in the well child checkups.
No vaccines, zero, not a single one, not a single shot, not a single flu shot, nothing.
Our kids really haven't ever needed to go to the doctor, honestly. There's been a very few times that I could count on one hand, like a broken arm we've had once, and a broken leg. Sky broke her leg.
Yeah, it was like a crack. She was running in the house and she hit, she banged into something when she was like 4.
So we've had a broken leg. We took the kids.
It's cracked. It wasn't
to
like
the doctor once when they had chicken pox and we wanted to know what it was. But
we're talking about 10 kids, and it's not that they're okay. I want to get something straight too. It could sound like, oh well, you're just neglecting your kids, and they've probably gone through all this torture and pain because you don't even let them get medical attention. No, it's not that at all. They just they're super healthy. They've always been super healthy. And, so you don't need to be afraid. Well, okay. My opinion is that we just kind of realize that we don't need to be afraid to just completely ignore the system, as it were, as it's put out there, trying to convince us that you've got to do all these things, otherwise something bad's going to happen to your kids.
And because looking at it from our perspective, a lot of these things cause way more harm than good.
Over and over and over. That seems to be like the theme song of the Matrix, the system.
So, yeah, it's been 24 years that we've been raising kids now, and all completely out of the system, the systems, the healthcare system, the schooling system, the obstetric system.
Yeah. And it's been great. And that includes even diets, like, oh, what are you supposed to eat? Oh, where do you we have not been like, what's the word? I don't know. I'm not trying to, there's this, the word for dogmatic or whatever about following, a certain, we're not vegans. We're not carnivores. We're not vegetarians. We're not anything. We do, eat healthy and healthy, not by the standards of anything you get from the system, but from a perspective of our own common sense and what we've seen that works. And
Like
things.
eating real food,
Yeah.
foundationally.
Yeah, right. Food that's actually made by nature, not by humans. That's pretty simple. And these things just work. The point is we've found over and over again as we've experimented in a way, it really is, because it's not like we had people that we were following or that were mentoring us really.
Yeah, we weren't following trends or a religion, or it was more just finding our own way and listening to what our intuition told us, and just what we felt logically and intuitively, and that has not led us astray.
It's been great. It's been absolutely great. And the more we realized we don't have to listen to any of that baloney, if it's not making sense. It doesn't, it's going against fundamental laws of nature in the most part, and the results have just been great over and over and over again. And so kind of how we got on this subject, we're looking at forming a community. We've mentioned that before, like a membership. And we're actually going to open it, by the way. Like today is, what's the date today? The January 27th or something like that. Yeah. So 1st of February, we're going to actually open the doors for people to start joining with us if you want. For foundational members, we're going to give some kind of really good deal. Like, we're still in the process of thinking about it. But we're going to open it up for a little bit, for a couple of weeks in February, and we'll shut down registration around Valentine's Day weekend. And then we're going to, so the idea though, is we're talking about it, like, what is it about? What are we going to call it? What kind of membership and community and, of people are we looking to put together? And as we're asking that, we talk about birth a lot, if you've listened to any of our other stuff, because it's something that's we're really passionate about. But we also realize that that's just a very powerful beginning.
It's the foundation.
Yeah, it's the foundation, but there's so much more. And there's so it's not just about birth. Of course, we'd love talking about that. But as we're thinking about what is it about, and Celeste is like, well, I think a lot about, like, we're kind of outside the system, and we'd like to connect with other people who are outside the system. And that's kind of what started.
Specifically families.
Yes.
People who are raising families outside the system.
Yes.
Raising children.
Yes, big time. And then as she said that, and I'm like, yeah, totally. And then I think about, but it's not that we're against systems per se, because systems are good. We just need good systems in this world. And right now it seems like the whole world is just plagued by defective systems that are defective out of ignorance, some out of stupidity, and a very high number of them seems to be by intentional design, by people who do not have our best interest at heart or in mind or in their intentions.
It's more about greed and power and their own agendas.
Yeah, their own agenda, which is not an agenda that's really going to benefit us. If your goal is to be happy and healthy and free and self-empowered and, self-responsible, those kind of things, no, that doesn't fit in the system. The system is always to teach you to stand in line, do what you're told.
Be dependent on, the professionals.
Yeah, don't
look outside yourself for the answers. Ask your doctor.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, don't go within and find what, it doesn't matter what you're here to do. Just find something that's acceptable to do, to be or become, and do that and make money and show up and get a good job. And all the things that, if you're listening to this podcast, maybe some of this resonates with you in the same negative way that it always has with us, with Celeste and I, with me. Celeste and me, excuse me for using improper English.
And we went to public school, and we went to college, and that that was just leading to a path
Like
that
breaking out.
I didn't want.
Well, yeah. Yeah. You know, I actually did pretty good in school, but the older I got, like the less I liked it. And until I did really good in school, actually, as a child. I was one of those quote honor students and straight A student type of person. But as I got older into my teenage years, I started just more and more feeling resentful and not liking it and wondering why in the heck am I here and why do I have to do all this homework all day? Why do I have to spend all day every day? And I'd look into the future
5 days a week.
yeah, and it's like, and then all on the weekends too, especially when you're in honors classes, like they would just
Extra
load you down.
homework.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the future and going, what is this leading to? Why am I doing this? So you can get a good job. A good job, what does that mean? Well, it's a job that pays really well. Okay, but is a good job like that I only have to work a couple days a week? Oh no, that doesn't exist. What do you mean? Like, it's like basically any job you think about or can imagine is going to put you, it's basically your entire life becomes your quote job. All your productive waking hours, except for that gives you a little Saturday to do whatever you want, and then Sunday is back to work night.
And when you realize that the school system is designed and set up to create workers that are fitting into that 9 to 5 system so that they'll get good jobs and become good workers, that's the whole point of the school system. And you realize that you don't want that.
It doesn't hold any promise there for you anyway. You're like, why am I doing this? And so that's part of what we're looking for, people who resonate with that. And clearly, a big part of our existence of the people that we would like to hang out with is people who are thinking about how I'd rather be spending my time with my family, raising my family, educating my family, living life with my family, having experiences with my family, with my children, with my wife, with my husband, doing things together, learning things together. Like that is what life is about. And for Celeste and I, a big part of the reason, probably one of the biggest reasons why we originally were attracted to each other and so much is because we both were just like, well, what's your biggest dream? Have kids and hang out with them? Like, that's like really what we wanted to do. And it's still what we want to do. Hasn't changed. And that seems like a really simple thing, but the crazy thing is in this system, that's the way it's set up, is that everything in this life is a barrier to that. Like, that's the one thing you're not allowed to do, is just have a family and hang out with them. And it's not about when, now it can sound lazy, like, oh, I just want to hang out all day and do nothing. It's not that.
It's about being free to follow your passions and do what you're meant to do in the world.
Yes. And by doing that, following your passions, doing what you're meant to do in the world, like that is the greatest value you have to give, that can bring you the greatest return. And one of the greatest values that all of us have to give, if you're going to have children and raise children, is to raise your children. Like, to put a lot of time, most of your time and focus while you have children into raising them, because
raising your own children, not sending them off to be raised by somebody else.
Yes.
Which is what people do when they send their kids off to daycare and then off to school.
Well, we're all told that's their only option. That's how the system is set up. And we send them to these places to learn things that we're not even happy about. So as I reel myself back in, but systems aren't necessarily bad. Like, what if we had good systems with good education, with good people who had the same intentions and who were trying to create, who had an intention to create systems that were positive and beneficial and that fostered that internal empowerment and knowing who you are and doing what you came here to do, and helped you learn how to do these things. And that's what that's what we'd love to create with this membership. If our dreams could come true and we could just find all the right people to hang out with, and
To
to
build community with.
yeah, build, have your kids meet our kids and our kids meet your kids. By the way, our kids are all the way ranging from
24 to
24 to down to 2, 3. My oldest, I have one that's 28 even, but so our kids are, a large range. So if you're listening to this, and we have little kids, we have medium kids, we have teenagers, and we have young adults. And
yeah, one thing that has stuck out, in raising our family outside the system, so to say, is that it sometimes feels isolating because there's not a lot of people doing what you're doing, and our kids sometimes feel, well, they are different.
yes.
And they kind of, have trouble like
Finding a peer group that is on the same wavelength.
yeah.
And that's a huge thing. And they've met some nice friends. We live in a really small town. We're talking like, I don't know, 7,000 people, 8,000 people, or something like that. I mean, back when we met, I met Celeste in this town, Snowflake, Arizona. That's too much information. This town's so small. If you came here, you'd probably be able to find us. But anyway, it's a really small town and really great people. The people here just tend to be, in general, more down to earth, family focused. There's a lot of LDS community, Mormon community here that are very family focused, family oriented. And so we're not LDS, but we fit in with them really well because of that value system. And so our kids have kind of pseudo been able to, they found some peers and some friends that they hang out with. They're really good kids.
Good people.
But they're all going in a different direction because they have a system that they're following, with their church, with their religion, and a path that's laid out for them. And our kids aren't on that path. And so even still, it's kind of like,
Yeah, so the desire, the goal has always been like this longing to create community somehow. That's the vision.
Yep. So I think we could wrap this one up. This is just a quick little talk about that. Celeste and I have committed. We started doing this. We did a few podcasts, and then we stopped for a long time, and we moved. We're in the middle of a move and all kinds of things, but we've recommitted. We're like, we need to every day either be podcasting or writing or, communicating with you guys. Because the only way we're going to find you guys and that you can find us is if we get out there, put ourselves out there. And we've never really been public like that very much. We've tried here and there and hit and miss, but we always stop because it's not in our nature to really reach out like this. But we must, and so we shall. And so hopefully if you're out there listening,
if any of this resonates,
yes, at all, then gosh, contact us, hang out, keep listening. We do have a website, birthprotectors.com, where there's a contact form. We'd love to hear from you. You can ask us any questions about us and our 10 kids and our home birthing or homeschooling or non-vaccinating or alternative health remedies that we found and things of anything. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what also this membership would give people an opportunity to do, is ask us those questions where we could be even more candid because it's in a private scenario. This is very public. Anyone might be listening to this in this private membership, um, it would be good for us and for you because there's only uh, certain people in there in these conversations, so we can all speak more freely and more openly about all the things that we know are not really acceptable out here in the system.
The mainstream.
Yeah, so birthprotectors.com, go check it out. I think I have on there actually right now, right this minute, I have something about our membership launching, but this was a previous, we were like gonna launch it a couple months ago, and then we ended up moving and kind of just
Got really busy.
yeah, so there might be some old information on there, just never mind that, but
Hopefully we'll update that soon.
yes, we will, but you can contact us there. That's the plan. You can I think we have a mailing list you can join, but we are committed to being active and connecting with you. We really desire to do that. So that's the plan, and we will, follow us. You can find our social medias and things like that. Celeste is pretty active there. I'm not as much, um, but yeah, you can totally just stay in touch and reach out. And we can't wait to talk to you again.
Yeah.